Excellent. Hi again, my name is Ian Brewer. I'm from the Bradford District Credit Union, and this is our webinar for pensions and money to do with Talk Money Week. And we are going to be starting with Jenny Wright. Jenny, are you there?
I'm here.
Excellent, Jenny. Fantastic.
As if by magic.
Right. So what I would ask to do is everybody mute and everybody turn their camera off, if that's okay, and we'll go from here. So without further ado, we introduce to Jenny. Thanks, Jenny.
Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to get my slides up for you. And I will await a thumbs up from Ian when they arrive on screen. Hopefully they're there now. You see them? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this session that's sort of set up by Bradford Credit Union. I'm always pleased to work with Ian and his team at Bradford Credit Union in partnership. And we're going to go through quite a few things this afternoon, but my slot is particularly around pensions. I'm really pleased to be able to talk to you about pensions because lots of people ask me questions about their pensions, and I just want to explain to you where you can get really helpful, safe information from to start you on that pension journey. But I'll just talk a little bit about myself first of all. I am the Regional Partnerships Manager for an organisation called the Money and Pension Service. We're an arm's length body of the Department for Work and Pensions, so that means we're sponsored by the government and we're funded by the Treasury. And we're an organisation that came together to support financial education, financial inclusion and financial well-being across the UK. We work in all of the 4 nations, and we are here to support people make important financial decisions throughout their lifetime. And we do that by using our consumer facing brand, which is called Money Helper. So I'm going to go through some stuff on that. But first of all, as Ian said, welcome to Talk Money Week. We run the Talk Money Week campaign every year, the first week in November. We really want to break down those barriers around talking about money. And we know that if people do talk about money in their day-to-day lives, they make better and less risky financial decisions. They have stronger personal relationships with their friends and their family. And also talking about money helps children to form good lifetime money habits. And also, if we're talking about money and we're getting things off our chest and actually getting solutions, we feel less stressed and less anxious. So we like to build conversations about money into our everyday lives. And I think my friends and family will probably be worn out with me at the moment because I am just talking about money the whole time. I can't help myself, but it's a really important thing to do, and it's really helpful. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. Just to touch on Money Helper and all the different things that we cover, even though we're just going to really focus on pensions this afternoon, we support with benefits, everyday money, so banking, things like that, family and care. We cover everything in that sort of gamut of information, homes, buying your house, renting, that sort of thing. Money troubles, if you are struggling with your finances, we are a safe space to come and get information and support from. Pensions and retirement, massive section around that. Savings and work and everything sort of related to work, so redundancy, pay slips, tax, all of that stuff we can help and support you with. And not only do we have an amazing website, but we also have some fantastic people on our free telephone helpline. We have a money guidance telephone line and a pension guidance telephone line, and we also have WhatsApp, web chat, email, all of those things to help and support you. But what we're going to focus on this afternoon in my little bit of this session is your pension journey. And it's never too early or too late to start planning your pension and your retirement and what that might look like in the future. So first thing I like to really scare people with is how much money you're likely to need when you do come to retirement. And there's an organisation called the Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association, who every sort of 2 to 3 years produce some figures around how much we are going to need to live on in retirement, depending on what sort of lifestyle we might want to have when we do come to retire. So what I'm going to talk about today is sort of really focus around this minimum level of retirement for a single person, and we are looking at people outside of London needing at least £14,400 a year to live on. And that's really quite a basic standard of living. So there's plenty of ways that we can build up that amount of income each year, but that's the sort of figure that I want you to have in mind. If you want to look on the website, and I think Ian's going to be able to share these slides with you after, but if you want to type in retirement living standards, that's a really good place to get this information from as well. So £14,400 is the sort of minimum amount of money that we need to live on as a sort of subsistence level in retirement. And what I always say to people is we've got an end goal in mind. We want to retire, we want to stop work at some point, but we need to be able to finance that. But it's really important to understand our finances as we go through our working lives as well, and have a really good handle on that. So how we do that is through our budget planner. We've got a really useful tool on the Money Helper website called the Budget Planner. You put everything that you're earning in there. So it might be wages, any in-work benefits that you've got, any out-of-work benefits, any retirement money that you're already receiving, side hustles. You might be selling things on Vinted or using eBay, that sort of thing. Anything that you're getting into the household financially each week or each month, shove it in the budget planner. And then you can go through all the things that you're spending your money on, and it prompts you. So things that you might only pay once a month or once a year, even something like your car MOT, it reminds you about all those things, and you can add all that in. You then get a sort of lovely pie chart when you've finished it, and it will show you all the areas that you're spending your money in, and you can then start to think about where and when you want to make changes to that. This is something that myself and my husband do every 3 months. And the reason why we do it on a sort of very regular basis is that my husband was made redundant 2 years ago. He had quite a decent size of redundancy money. That was fantastic and really good support for us. But he decided to start his own business. Carried on as if he was working, and then 3 months into this new business, which it does take a long time to generate income from a new business, he turned around to me and said, I haven't got any money left. So we had to start from scratch and really work through this as a family, and so we do that all the time now, and it helps us to understand where we are with things and gives us that reassurance that we know we've got enough to pay our bills each month. So I would highly recommend doing that now. But then when you start to think about the future and your retirement as well, we've also got a budgeting in retirement worksheet. So things tend to change when you stop working. You might not spend as much money on commuting, getting a coffee if you're going into work, having lunch with your colleagues. So you may spend less in the work environment, but you might start to spend more at home, having the heating on more, trying to go on sort of days out, trips, looking after grandchildren, that sort of thing. So it gives you a sort of starting point to think about what you might need to live on in the future. And then that goes back to that 14,400 that we talked about a little bit earlier. So what have we got to sort of start with then? So most of us will receive a full state pension. If you've been working for 35 years throughout your working life, 35 qualifying years, so paying national insurance contributions, you should receive a full state pension. And that's the new type of state pension, which is really sort of easy to understand. And that provides you, in this year's figures, with £11,500 a year to live on. So we're sort of quite a way up to that 14,400 already. If you've got less than 35 years national insurance contributions, but more than 10 years, you will definitely get something from the government. So that's going to be like on a sliding scale, depending on how long you've paid into your national insurance. But to find out about that, you can find out how old you are going to be when you receive your state pension. So on the gov.uk website, you can look at that. And also you can check your state pension forecast. I did this the other week just to sort of have a little play around on the system again and make sure I knew where everything was. And the gov.uk website, check your state pension. That tells you how many years national insurance contributions you're going to have, and also if you're going to have any shortfalls in your state pension. So that's a really good exercise again that you can do now. You don't have to wait till you're nearing that state pension age. I suggest that you do it sooner rather than later and start to have an understanding of what you are going to get from the government. And then if there are any gaps, again, you can look at sort of paying additional contributions to up what you're going to be getting every week from your state pension. So some good stuff to start with there, the budget planner and checking into your state pension. So there's different people from different organisations on the call today, and there's two main types of pensions out there. One of them is called a defined benefit pension scheme. Some people call it final salary, and mostly people in the public sector have got those. So it might be education, NHS, that sort of thing will have a defined benefit pension.
Sorry, Jenny, just
yeah.
Quick interruption. What slide number are you on?
I am on number 11.
I've got slide 3 showing here. So,
are you not? Oh, right. Okay. Is it not caught up?
It's all right. And now you're on slide number what, sorry?
11.
It's fine. I'll get to where you are and I'll come.
Okay. So Francis, thank you. Francis is saying that they can see slide 11 and everybody else.
Right.
So, okay.
It's me then. Okay. You carry on.
That's fine then. That's fine. Great. Great, everybody. Thanks for letting us know where we are with this. So yeah, defined benefit pension. So with that, you know exactly what you're going to get when you come to retirement. You're going to get a specific figure. You might get some tax-free cash as well, tax-free lump sum. You can normally access these after age 55. But the rules around them are quite strict. They're not massively flexible. However, they are index linked, so you will probably get an increase in your pension as you go through retirement. So that's the first type of pension. The second type of pension, which most of us have got now, is called a defined contribution scheme. Like auto enrolment, you might have a nest pension, that sort of thing. And that's very different from the defined benefit, and that is building you an individual pot of money up over your working life. Up to 25% of that value can be taken as a tax-free cash amount when you decide to access that. At the moment, you can access that from age 55. That's changing to age 58 over the next couple of years. But that's much more flexible, and you might find that you've got more than one pension. I've got 9 pensions, which is slightly distressing because I've got lots of things to manage, and you can amalgamate all your pensions if you choose to do that. But I've got 9 different pensions, and mine are all defined contribution. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to be retiring on when I do come to that age. But what it means by having all these different pensions is I can do different things at different times with them. So we've got lots of different things going on, and it's really important to understand the type of pension that you've got, when you can access it, and how you can access it. So what I would suggest you do is ring us up or WhatsApp us, email us, have a conversation with us to understand what you've got. And again, that's starting to build those building blocks around planning for your future. So we've got understanding what your pension is, budget planning, and also understanding your state pension as well. So giving you a few things to think about. And why are private and workplace pensions a good thing to have? Well, First of all, it adds to that state pension. We know that that's £11,500, and we're really looking to build up at least £14,400 a year to live on. Your state pension would normally kick in around 67, 68, depending on how old you are. Your private or workplace pension around 55, 58, you can access that from at any time after that. So it gives you more flexibility, especially if you wanted to go part-time or just really sort of pack your job in altogether, which some days some of us feel like we want to do that, but it does give us much more flexibility. In terms of paying into a pension, you pay your contribution in. The employer pays some into that as well. So you're getting money from your employer, and you are also getting tax relief from the government. So there's lots of things adding up that are all going into your pension on top of your own contribution. So it's, in effect, we call it free money from your employer. And again, we've talked about this already. You can access 25% of that as a lump sum at the moment, which that might mean that you can use it to pay a mortgage off, go on a lovely holiday, support family, that sort of thing. So a lot of flexibility there. And then also, there has been some information in the budget around sort of pensions and what happens when you die, but that applies to if you die after age 75. But just go through the 3 different types of pensions that we've talked about. So the state pension used to be, if you were married and you were a woman, you'd sort of take over your husband's state pension if he passed away. But everybody now is having the new state pension, and it's an individual pension, so it's all around you. So if you pass away, that pension is then finished. If you've got a final salary pension or a defined benefit pension, you can sort of say within the scheme that you want this pension to be left to your spouse or your dependents. That normally does go to your spouse anyway, but if you're not married, you might need to look into the scheme rules around how you can leave that to your partner or anybody else that you wanted to do. With a defined contribution pension, the full value of the pot that you've not accessed can be transferred to the people that you nominate. So with all your pensions, there's what's called a nomination of beneficiaries form. You can fill that in and do a proportion of benefits to whoever you want to leave it to. So in my case, I've filled 9 nomination of beneficiary forms in, and I've got a portion going to my daughter, a small portion, and then a bigger portion going to my husband if anything happens to me before I want it to. So as I say, rules are changing next April. Not fully understanding what they are yet, because it was announced in the budget, but we've not got all the up-to-date information. But if you have got a pension, it will pass on. If it's a workplace pension, it will pass on in some way, shape or form to your loved ones, but make sure you fill the form in. And then, as I say, I've got lots of pensions. You've probably got a few if you've had changes of jobs, some that you might not even remember that you signed up to. And there's the pension tracing service, again, that the government runs. You can find old pensions. We've got a lot of stuff going on around the Talk Money Week thing, and one of the blogs that we've got was a guy that came to us for an appointment around his pensions, found that he'd got a £70,000 pension pot that he'd totally forgotten about, which, you know, is fabulous when you're looking to plan for the future. So do have a look if you've got anything that you've forgotten about. If you've forgotten to change your address when you've moved, it may well be worth getting in touch with those old pension providers as well. And one thing that I'm really passionate about is women understanding their pensions. I do a lot of work in this space, and women don't tend to have as good pension pots as men, for lots of different reasons. The gender pay gap is one of those. So we've been paid less, so therefore less is going into our pensions historically. A lot of us take career breaks for looking after children and then going back part-time, caring for our older parents as well and relatives. That's not to say men don't do that, but predominantly women do that sort of stuff. Again, around menopause, women tend to not always be able to do the same job that they've done. They might not feel well enough to do their job. They may decide to lower their hours. And again, that impacts on their pension provision, because if you're earning less money, less is going into your pension provision. So I'm really keen to sort of bang that drum for women getting to know their pensions and understanding what their future will look like. Again, divorce, that impacts your pension provision as well. So if you need any more information about this, then please do go on our Money Helper website as well, and we can go through that with you. For those of you that are over 45 and you think, right, I just want to have an idea of where I am with everything at the moment, we've got a really good tool called the Midlife MOT tool. It takes about 5 minutes to go through, sort of answer a few questions around where you are now, where you'd like to be, and anything that you're worried about. And then we give you an action plan to work through with all the information that you're going to need to do that. So that's another really good thing, quick and dirty, that you can do in 5 minutes, but then it gives you a starting point to move that money journey forward as well. Now, with pensions, and in 2015 there was a thing called pension freedoms, which was when the Chancellor of the Exchequer at the time, Mr. Osborne, I can't remember his first name, but Mr. Osborne said, you can access all of your pension in one go if you want. When you get to 55, you can take all of the money out of your pension pot, which, you know, it's interesting. But because of that, and because there wasn't a lot of information around that, the scammers sort of jumped on this bandwagon of approaching people as they got to around 50 to sort of say, oh, we can help you access your pension. You can get your pension early, which is totally incorrect. We can invest all that money for you in really fantastic investment opportunities. You'll get way more than you would if you left it in your pension pot. So there's a lot of scammers about there trying to get our pension money offers, and a lot of the times there's quite big chunks of money available, and it's really important that if you are approached out of the blue, it will be a scam. Your pension provider won't approach you out of the blue ringing you up or anything. They'll send you annual statements, but they will leave it for you to contact them. They will not contact you. So if anybody does contact you about your pension, just have a really big think about what they're saying to you. Have you asked somebody to get in touch with you? And if not, just put the phone down. Don't respond to emails. The other thing that's really important as well is, if you are wanting some support around your pension, get your pension statement out and use the details on your pension statement to contact your specific pension provider. Or alternatively, you can use Money Helper, which is a safe space. Please don't Google pension advice or pension support, because the likelihood is that the people that contact you from that will be some sort of scam. So just think about what you're doing. If you didn't sort of suggest to anybody that they talk to you about this, don't engage. And before you sign anything, just take a breath and make sure that this is something that you really want to do, but also get support and information from Money Helper as well. So we've rattled through quite a lot of stuff there. I know there's other people that are going to be talking after me, but I just wanted to recap on what we've talked about just now. So we've got tracing lost pensions. You can do that on the gov.uk website. Find out about your state pension, see if you've got any missing years so you can start to do something about that. Nominate beneficiaries, really important that your pension gets passed on to the right people. Use our pension calculators and budget planners and the midlife MOT to give yourself a really good understanding of where you want to be, what you've got already, and the sort of things you need to do differently to ensure that you get the sort of financial future that you really want to. And then lastly, the all important information on how you can contact us. if you're looking for pension guidance, we've got a free phone telephone number. Just go on the Money Helper website, you'll find it. But if you're over 50 and you've got at least one defined contribution pension, you can have a pension wise appointment with us. So that's an hour-long appointment over the phone. You can talk to a pension specialist. You can ask them anything you want about pensions. No question is a silly question, and we will help and support you through that process. And then if you're wanting any money guidance, then you can ring the number about money guidance as well. And yes, we will be looking to share these slides as well. And just a little advert for me, if you are part of your HR team and you want me to come and do some more work around financial wellbeing, particularly in the pension space, then I am more than happy to do that. And I will put my email in the chat function for you. So thank you for listening. I've probably gone on way longer than I was allowed to, but there you go. And I'm going to pass you back to Ian now. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. And I'll just bring up my one here. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Jenny. It's always a joy to work with you. We're just going to go on to the Talk Money Week presentation from the credit union. Again, I'll go through these at speed. So we're going to go through the history, our payroll partners, our projects, and our results. So meeting the team, that's myself. We have Siobhan working with us. Some of you have met Siobhan in support for us, and Yanka, who has just joined as my marketing apprentice. Now, the reason why Bradford Credit Union exists at all is you got to go back to 1993. John Major's in power, and there's a major recession of the early 90s. Interest rates hit 15%, if you can imagine that. And staff at Bradford Council were struggling to get loans from their banks. They spoke to HR about it, and Bradford Council decided to set up a credit union so that staff could save into a pot and then borrow out of the same pot. 2005, when In Communities was set up, it extended to all residents of Bradford. And in 2016, two things happened which were a major game changer. The first was that Bradford Credit Union was one of the first to offer online banking. We now have a smartphone app, so you can check your balance and move your money out of your account anytime you like from that. And also in 2016, if people cast their mind back, everything was about payday lenders. So Wonga, companies like that were charging 4,000% interest rates, if you can imagine that. Bradford Council was really worried about that, and they decided to fund a community development officer, and that's my role here. So I came in 2016, and I've gone through various different name changes, and I am now the EDI Community Development Lead for the Bradford District Credit Union. 2019, the government came to us and said there isn't a credit union, Kirklees and Craven, would we extend? So we cover the corridor from Huddersfield right up to Skipton. What's been interesting is to see the membership growth. So up until 2016, we had 3,000 members. Our latest figures we've just had is we're actually 10,500 members. We've added 7,500 members in 7 years. We help people from financially excluded background. Over 3,000 people are financially excluded. Through many come through our projects, and we provide faith-friendly ethical savings because we don't pay interest. We pay a dividend, which is halal. So for people from an Islamic background can save with us ethically. I wonder if you were to guess at how much 10,500 people might save together. People guess anywhere between 100,000 and £1 million. I'm here to tell you that we actually look after a staggering £6.5 million, something we're extremely proud of, and that's because of the way we approach savings. We couldn't do what we do with our workforce payroll savings. Some of the stats are there that I'm not going to go into, but some people find it really difficult when they're working to access the right benefits and the right wages to be in the current climate. So solutions there through Bradford District Credit Union is we have over 4,000 staff save and borrowing at 34 companies. Those staff save nearly £5 million and borrow £2 million. Those savings that come through our payroll savings are able to be shared to people that are financially excluded. And that's one of the major business models that a credit union happens. And these are some of the companies that we deal with. We work with Jenny from Money Helper and Money Pensions Scheme today that came on today. We've also got Jonathan to the right of me here, who's from NECA Gambling Information. We work closely with Mind in Bradford. They do also doing a presentation for us today. And we work with the illegal money lending team that help people to avoid loan sharks and education around that. What gets me out of bed in the mornings is our projects. And the first project that I wanted to bring your attention is our free Money SOS workshop. Over 500 people have been through this now. This is Train the Trainer. We do this with social prescribers, NHS staff, done it with all over the place for the last 6 years. Using my business banking background to help understand people to understand things like APR, payday loans, overdrafts, and credit score. These are the things that people generally don't understand, and we now have a BCB radio broadcast that we goes out explaining these terms as well. Just to quickly pick out APR, your average bank lends between 6 and 20% based on your credit rating. You may be surprised that only 40% of the UK population can get those rates. 60% have got to go somewhere else because their credit score is not high enough. One of the cheapest places you can go to outside of a bank, other than the credit union, might be a payday. It might be a doorstep lender. Doorstep lenders start at 272% APR. To put that into context, a £500 loan over just 1 year at 272% APR is £410 of interest. That's a £910 loan for just £500 over just 1 year. And that gives you an idea of what people are facing if they can't get a good credit score. We work a lot with the Americans, and a lot of the work that we've done has been modelled on that. Some of the programs that we've done in the past. Some of the program that we've just literally come to an end of is being funded by the West Yorkshire Mayor, Tracy Brabin. There were 2 programs for that, and one was the Uniform Savers program. People were saving through 3 times £10 over a 6-month period, and if they did so, the fund paid them £100 towards their savings to be able to go out and buy a school uniform. Radical change in that. Excuse me there. That. And the other one was a £200 microloan scheme. Looking at some of the key statistics that we've been able to do that, from the Uniform Savers, over 80% of participants saved, resulting in £28,000 worth of savings have been saved by these people. 27 members took out some affordable loans. 91% were female, a high proportion employed in care work and domestic work, and the majority participants were new to a credit union. When it came to the microloan scheme, being able to offer people with poor credit score that normally even we couldn't lend to, through the Mayor's funding, we were able to lend out to 300 participants with ultra low credit score. 97% were employed, and our data shows that these were in low paid roles. 84% of participants were female, predominantly employed, and 85% of those who did repay were able to approve for top-up loans or go somewhere else for a loan. So we've been able to rehabilitate the credit scores for 85% of those 300 people. We're also doing a health and social care project for people in the health and social care sector. We've got some funding to help people save through that, through the NH Trusts, and also have £200 microloan scheme for 150 people. Again, another sort of project that we offer. For the FoodSavers, to my left here, I've got Maria, who's going to explain this in a little bit more detail. But just safe to say that this was a Bradford Council funded initial project. And that is now through with Julie Thompson from In Churches. We set this up 2.5 years ago now. We have 21 pantries, nearly 700 savers saving £52,000. This has become popular. It's now being rolled out across Leeds and Calderdale. And as I say, Maria will fill us in a little bit more detail from that. This has been an incredible year for our credit union. We've added over 1,000 people to that. Our projects have added 600 new members. The FoodSavers model has been rolled out across the West Yorkshire, and we've reached over 10,500 members. Some of the benefits of credit union: start a savings habit, the internet or smartphone banking, same-day withdrawals, access to affordable loans, our Christmas savers, junior savers, and our faith-friendly halal savings. We're an ethical banking that supports your community without money SOS workshops. If anybody is interested in joining, if you pop into www.bdcu.uk, hit the join button and follow that through. And that is my presentation from there. And without further ado, I'm going to find the FoodSavers one. Bear with me. Excellent. And slideshow. And there.
Hello, everybody. I'm Maria from FoodSavers Network. FoodSavers is a project of In Churches. In Churches is a charity that started in Bradford about 15 years ago. So a little bit about FoodSavers is we're a network of affordable pantries or outlets across Leeds, Calderdale and Bradford. Just having a bit of a technical trouble to move my slides over. Like you said, I'm Maria from the FoodSavers Network. So we're a network of independent pantries across Bradford, Calderdale and Leeds, where we like to say that FoodSavers members can save money on their weekly shop, save food from going to landfill, and save into a recognised credit union, which is where we partner with Bradford Credit Union in Bradford, Leeds Credit Union in Leeds and Calderdale Credit Union in Halifax. We work around 5 pillars, which is behaviour change, choice, financial inclusion, empowerment and dignity. And the difference between a pantry and a food bank is that people get to choose the food. Typically, they come to a FoodSavers outlet and pay between £6 or £10 as a membership fee, and £1 from that automatically goes into the credit union account if they wish. So they're starting to save without actually feeling it. But that's part of the financial inclusion and the behaviour change. Some key statistics for the last year is that we've got 1,200 weekly shoppers across the network now. We've got 750 new members into the 3 credit unions across Bradford, Leeds and Calderdale. Those members have saved £57,500 into those credit unions. We've opened 8 new pantries across the network. We've built a Microsoft Dynamics platform that links the portal to those 3 credit unions, obviously to securely send data backwards and forwards. And we've also saved 160 tonnes of food from going to landfill. What's the difference with FoodSavers and a normal outlet is that we facilitate that relationship between the pantry and the local credit union. We enable customers or members in those outlets to save into a credit union, and obviously in Bradford's case, that's Bradford Credit Union. We like to say that with a bridge or with a filling in the sandwich. So pantries do pantry business, credit unions do credit union business, and FoodSavers facilitate the bit in the middle. So FoodSavers outlet Fresh or store-cupboard foods, household products, toiletries arranged on shelves as in a corner shop or pop-up style in a church hall or in a community centre. Customers choose an agreed number of items between 10 and 15, and they pay a membership fee, typically £6. And £1 from every shop is deposited into the Bradford District Credit Union account. And they can also add additional savings if they wish to do so. What some of our pantries and members have said is a lady who'd been shopping thanked us for a voucher. So obviously that fits into our financial inclusion. We support pantries when they're celebrating their birthdays. One of the volunteers said that she'd seen the positive change in people's behaviour when they come to shop with choice and dignity. The food clubs make shopping budget go a bit further. It helps spread the cost, especially when unexpected happens. And the market helps lots of people to get fresh fruit and vegetables, and there's really good choice. Is there any questions?
If you'd like to put those into the chat, if you've got any questions, and we will seek to do that with that. I'm going to ask Menes if she's there to do her presentation next. I should have that here. And
thank you, Ian. Would you like me
nice
to share?
To see you.
Okay?
I'm
you,
going to share
too.
for you.
Thanks for having me
just ask the next slide.
That's perfectly fine. Thanking you. Well, hello everybody and good evening. Thank you for inviting us here today, Ian. So Ian, I think you've got the old presentation up. I'm happy to share the new one, if that's okay with you. Can everybody see the Bradford District and Craven Mind?
We can, thank you.
Brilliant. So hi, again everyone. I'm one of the managers here at Bradford District and Craven Mind. I have been with the organisation for over 4 years now. Started off as a volunteer, have slowly worked my way up to now being a manager, and I oversee a few of the services here at Bradford District and Craven Mind. So I'm quite conscious of time. So we will now
Menes, could you just
forward.
go to your slide? Could you go to your slideshow so we can see it slide by slide? So across the middle there, that's it.
Yep. Does that look better for everybody? Are you able to see that now, Ian?
Thank you. Yes, I can.
Yep. So we are an independent local mental health charity affiliated with National Mind. So we are connected. However, we are independent at the same time. We are part of a network of over 100 local minds, and our mission is to make sure no one in the Bradford District or Craven has to face a mental health issue alone. Now, some of you might know us by Mind in Bradford. And that was the logo on the presentation that Ian just shared. But we have now become Bradford District and Craven. So the reasoning behind this for the name change is we would allow people from communities outside of Bradford to know we are here for them, and they can access our services. So that's Bradford and Craven District. And you can see there in the little picture that we've got. So that's all the areas that we currently cover. Just by looking at our impact report from 2023 to 2024, in the last year, we have supported over 17,000 individuals across over 53,000 interventions. And that includes children. So 2,782 children and young people have been supported, and that's from the age of 5 to 25. And that's by the Youth in Mind partnership. We've had 11,352 live calls and chats on one of our services, which is the guideline service. and we have also supported 10,332 crisis and support sessions by Safe Spaces and Hospital Buddies. We have grown massively in the last few years. We have gone from 10 services to now 17 services across Bradford District and Craven Mind. Just to name two of our core services, we've got Guideline, who provides confidential emotional support to we provide that every day and night. So we start at 8 AM to midnight, and that's the whole year. And that's telephone support. We also do chat support on that as well, online. And then we've got the Safe Spaces, who's anyone aged 7 or over living in Bradford District and Craven can access urgent same-day support from Safe Spaces at our Bradford on Keighley hubs. Now, the reason we've highlighted the urgent same-day support, we know that when somebody is in crisis, they are needing support there and then. Unfortunately, that's not always available from other statutory services, and this is why Safe Spaces has come about as well. It's something that used to be sanctuary, and now we've moved across to Safe Spaces to ensure that that same-day support is accessed for that individual who is in crisis. The way to make a referral for Safe Spaces is to call our first response team or the crisis support and guideline, who both have referral pathways into Safe Spaces. The Young People in Bradford Services to Know Your Mind, which we deliver across Bradford District and Craven for anybody that is struggling with their mental health. This service is for those aged between 8 to 19 or up to 25 if they have additional needs. You're able to refer yourself or someone else using our online referral form. We've got some other services here that I can briefly talk about. We've got our wellbeing groups, things like tribal drumming, arts and crafts, walk and talk sessions. We've got our hearing voices groups. We've got one running in Skipton, the other one at Bradford District and Craven Mind head office. We also have the Maastricht groups running, which is a 12-week course for the voice hearer, to have a deep dive into the background as to why this may be happening, or kind of raising that awareness around what those voices are and why this person is hearing those voices, to give them a better understanding. We've got the Enhanced Access Service, which is a referral through the GP, and it's 3 sessions of support on an evening. It's the low to moderate mental health support service. We've also got the befriending service, and we've got the Healthy Minds as well, which again you can go on to and access other services through that. So please do get involved, volunteer with us, fundraise with us, work for us. This is our information here. Please do go onto our website. Like I said, I've only briefly covered some of our services. We do run 17 services across Bradford and District and Craven Mind. So if there is anything in particular that you're looking for, or even if you're just wanting to have a nosy to see what the services are, please do go on and do have a look across our website. Any questions?
Thank you so much. We'll take questions at the end, but people can
That's
put them
fine.
into the chat.
Brilliant.
We'll ask you to stay on at the end as well. Fantastic. Right. So without further ado, let's see if I can get the last presentations forward. Let's have a look. Here we go. Excellent. And it's passing over to Jonathan.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Christopher, or John, as most people call me. I work for NECA, and I'm a gambling harms practitioner.
Just Christian Xbox.
Thank you. How do we move this forward?
So onto there. And yeah.
Okay, so thank you. So yeah, I'm just going to look at some basics But looking at some basic stats that we've had, they're a couple of years old, but probably about the most accurate ones we can get at the moment. So quite a worrying figure there. 60% of adults living in Great Britain do report participating in gambling activity in 2022. It's quite a lot, but obviously that does take in lottery tickets, which people don't seem to believe is gambling, but nevertheless it is. The Yorkshire and Humber region has a higher gambling prevalence than the national average, ranking as a region with the fourth highest rate of gambling, with just over 60% of respondents. So what we deal mainly with the gambling related harms. Naturally, they do impact on people's resources, relationships, and sadly their health. Many negative effects, which can include loss of employment, debt, leading to crime, breakdown of relationships, and deterioration of physical and mental health. This is when we then would be involved with other agencies on quite a regular basis. The harm that's caused can be devastating and can lead to people to taking their own lives. Harms can be experienced not just by the gamblers, which is what most people think, but it has a far wider ranging effect. It can affect the children, the partners, wider families, social networks, employers, communities, and society as a whole. And it is generally a drain on society. We offer support to anybody who's aged 18 or over, and also we do occasionally look after people under 18, following our sort of triage process. We see whether that person's suitable for our service. We look after family members, partners, and friends. We offer one-to-one appointments and group support, generally on a weekly basis. Depending on the strength of that person and how well they start to do, we can move those meetings a little bit further, a fortnight, give or take. Individuals and professionals can refer through our website. We can call us, email us, or use the QR code. It's quite a straightforward referral process. We can also refer to other gambling support services if they're more able to meet individuals' needs. We do have good relationships in those areas, and we do get a great deal of support from them. So there, just a brief how to access our support. The self-referrals, they come through to our office in Harrogate, which is the office that I work at. You can use the NECA website, the QR code, and also professional referrals, which come in, as we have just mentioned there, those two other sites. We also have a helpline referral system 24/7, so people can ring the National Gambling Helpline, refer themselves in then, and then we will pick that person up the following day. We have an agreement whereby we actually speak to people within 24 hours and hopefully set them up with the first appointment within 2 to 3 days, or a maximum of 5. So there we have the client journey, and it does show the referral stage into ourselves by the external maze, self-referral, the National Gambling Helpline. Quite a comprehensive triage takes place there. Then we can also look at them and we can assess the safety aspects, see whether there's any safeguarding issues, any issues regarding the children, themselves, and the safety of everybody concerned. And as I said there, the appointments are offered well within a week, as it says there. We do PSI intervention, support groups, signpost to external services, and we have an extended brief intervention system or scheme whereby we can give more sessions at level and we move them up to a different level, which is a graded type of treatment for them. Ongoing appointments, as I said there, with regular reviews, usually every 2 to 3 weeks. Care plans are made, as are risk and safety plans, and again, they're reviewed on a very regular basis. On discharge, a person can receive or will receive checkups or calls on 3, 6, and 12 months, whereby we just make them aware that they're not being cast aside. They're there. We will continue to support them, and they can also come back into the service at any time they would like to do so in the future. So looking at some of the self-exclusion tools, a lot of people aren't aware that these tools actually do exist. So we do sort of recommend these to our clients. The GAM Stop there, the free online self-exclusion scheme, the GAM Ban, which is also on multiple devices, and bank gambling transaction blocks, which are free tools and offered by most UK banks, which again are quite an important aspect of blocking people, blocking themselves actually banking. Because if you can't get access to your finances, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So exclusion from the land-based venues, we have Moses, self-exclusion from betting shops. It generally works more in the local areas to where that person actually lives, but they have to send a photograph through, so they're identified when they're entering a betting shop, and hopefully they should be stopped by the staff. We have self-exclusion from casinos, the bingo industry, which is quite, for myself actually, I've only been in the role a few short months. I didn't realise how many people were infected by bingo. It's a huge, huge issue. And also the self-exclusion from the arcades. So there's quite a lot of tools there that people can use, put in place to make it very difficult, if not sometimes impossible, for them to actually go through and gamble. So what we are looking at started up recently is the Champions Charter. So this looks at your organisation with the idea to identify some person in that organisation who can identify the sort of gambling related harms I've just mentioned, any potential triggers alongside the clear pathway, referral pathways into our services. And what we would certainly value working in partnership with yourselves and your organisations. So what happens for you guys then? Well, as a gambling champion, you'll be the point of contact within your organisation. What we also ask is that we can leave leaflets, resources or awareness of support and pathways into our services. Also, there will be online training provided whereby you can be kept up to date. There's a networking system, and basically everything can work to get people in your organisation who may have these issues or may know somebody who has an issue along the gambling that we can maybe get involved with and offer them support and advice. So this is a clear question that we then tend to ask, and it says simply, has your gambling or the gambling of someone close to you had a negative effect on your life? And when you ask that question, it's amazing how many people reply in the positive. It's a widespread problem. But this sort of question does get people speaking, gets people thinking about what they're saying, and it can be quite far-reaching for a lot of people. So that's our phone number. That's our office number in Harrogate. It could be me that answers if you want to ring. We're good to speak to you. There's our QR code, website address. So please, if you know anybody or if you're interested in the scheme whereby we can come and get into your organisation, please let us know. We're there at the end of the phone and we're willing to be there for you. Many thanks indeed.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And that actually leads to the end of the presentation. I hope that people have found that really helpful. If anybody does want to quickly unmute and put themselves on camera and ask a question or even offer a comment, you're welcome to do so, or put something into the chat. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left, but hopefully you all enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. Yep, copy of the presentations. Give me probably about a week. I'll put that together onto an online platform and I will email it out. It'll come through your Eventbrite that I'll be sending it out to you. Thank you, Trevor, for that. Have people found this useful? Have people found this helpful? It would be good to know. Anybody want to comment? Thank you, Trevor. In fact, that's a really good idea. Would you mind putting up your hands? Just press the hand button if you found this helpful, and it'll just give me an idea of people who have found this helpful. Excellent. Fantastic. I can see hands going up all over the place on that. And yeah, much appreciated. I'm going to, just while they've gotten to there, I'm going to just bear with me a moment and stop recording so that can be stopped.